Stephen A gets us started. Wait a second. This is the Ramon Foster show. Start Ramon Foster, 11 years starting guard in the National Football League, all 11 of those for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he is out of breath today.
Yes, I am. I am, man. For more than likely, actually, false start on the play. No, delay of game is what I have. It's on me.
Okay.
Delay of game. Ramon Foster 5 yards to set him back.
This is what happens when he's on the field and he knows it was him. He just does one of these and goes like this, right on top of the 7 and the 3.
Is that not the most universal? You got me right there. Yeah.
That
right
is,
there.
That
Yes.
He wants to know how many Starbucks I had today. I'm only on the second one today, Stephen.
Only.
There's a third one in storage. Don't ask me what I did to get through my day in Detroit yesterday.
Really? It's one of them?
Header. Yeah. Rain out the night before. Double header. Blah.
Before we hit this bell, is it possible that a pitcher can change the profile of a team? Because I get Pirates alerts. And I saw them, I think, win the series against the Braves, went to Detroit and did well. What's happening with those buccos?
Well, what's happening is that even people in football environments are talking about them. I had a really good discussion today with Rodney Williams, backup tight end at the Steelers.
Yeah.
Been around for a while. Rodney, great dude, by the way.
Yeah.
And Rodney's like, were you at the Skeens thing yesterday? Meaning in Detroit, Paul Skeens. And I go, yeah, I was there. He goes, what's that like? I go, I mean, it's not like watching Rodney Williams catch a touchdown. You know?
Yeah.
What do you want, man? I mean, there's excitement, and then there's 87 in the end zone.
I mean, but throwing 101.
These people are going, who's Rodney Williams?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, right. But after throwing 101 in a box the way he's been doing, DK, I mean, if I was there, I'd be probably, DK, what is he doing? What does it look like?
Yeah.
I'd be all in your ear about it, too.
There's more to it. We'll get to that. We have business. Yeah, look at you over there. You're all ready for this.
Finally, after the false start, delay of game. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Oh man, look how jazzed up I am for this.
See.
Wore this in the locker room today. Got a couple of remarks about it. Yeah, I was ready.
Yeah, let them know we still have a presence around here, DK. Yes.
I was ready. We have a presence in there too. There's an expectation. There's a standard to be upheld here on this program. And Moan, I was over at OTAs today.
Yes.
And I'm going to come back with one word for you, and I'm really, really looking forward to your feedback on this. Okay, we're gonna get past like cliches and things that athletes usually say. I want to get to the real stuff. Okay. The word is physical, and the people that are using it are on the offense. And when Arthur Smith walks past me in the locker room, and I say, Coach, they're loving your offense. He says to me, he goes, that's because they're here for the fight. Now, I'll eventually name names here for you, okay? Yeah, but these guys are ready to play in this offense, to play a physical brand of football. One of them said, I'm not interested in dropping back for pass blocking 40 times a game. Okay, I'm here to go forward. Yeah, to punish, to push people back. Moan, why? Because if I go out there and I stop somebody on the street and I asked just a general question, if you were a football blocker, which would you rather do? Stand there and pass block or knock people over? They'd probably think that standing there would be easier.
The real answer is I'd rather be the hammer than the nail. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what you're asking me is which one would I prefer? And here's the thing, though, too. This group is somewhat mostly inexperienced to a point as a group to where they got a bunch of young, a bunch of new, and a bunch of, new coaches also, right? That's where we are with this group. And the easiest way to settle them in, DK, is to let them be physical and establish a run. What do most people do? Hey, let's learn how to run block first. I've always said learning how to be a really good pass protector takes time. Think about it, like career tackles, right? The offensive tackles. That's the one thing that they'll always be tracked by, how many sacks you give up, because it's such a learned skill. You got to learn, okay, what's my weakness? What's my strengths? How do I get to a point where I know what their strengths are so I can attack it? You know what the run game does? I'm going to hit the microphone real quick. Just go beat somebody up.
That's it. It's the
you hear that noise for the people.
When Chris Berman would do the Mike Allstott thing, remember the old running back for the Tampa Bay Bucks?
Yeah, that's what the run game does. There's no thinking in it other than, long as I keep my lane, I'm good. If the guy slants inside or outside of me, as long as I keep my track, I'm good on making sure I secure my block. That's what that is, DK. And I think that excitement around that one word, physical, lets them know that at the end of the day, we're tired of getting beat up and pushed around. We got 2 bell cows at running back. We got a lot of, and here's the other side too, DK. From right to left, left to right, and even in the backfield, you got a lot of big bodies. That's one thing I'll give the Steelers credit for. When the NFL is doing one thing and getting cute, they go the opposite way, because the pendulum eventually swings. When everybody was trying to figure out how they're going to run the ball, you know what we did? We went no huddle. We sped up the pace of the game. And at some point, most people always get back to football purist type of people and franchises, always get back, and they will tell you this. If you walk up to Coach Tomlin, if you walk up to Arthur Smith, if you walk up to any franchise quarterback, they'll let you know it is still a big man's game. And we got a ton of big boys, so much so that you could have 7 starters on that offensive line and nobody will bat an eye. I know people are going to side eye my goddamn Moore, but nobody will bat an eye if he's out there and he's beating people the heck up. On top of having 2 tight ends that you trust, with Connor Hayward at a fullback position, with 2 bruising running backs. DK, look at you smiling.
I am, because
why are you smiling?
Because you just mentioned Connor Hayward, and he was the last guy that I talked to coming out of the building, and I was joking with him about being the fullback. He said, "Dude, I'm gonna be all over." Because that's how he lines up. He's not the spokesman for the tight ends, but he's one of them. Yeah. And he's going around the room, and then I'm talking to Connor. While I'm talking to him, Darnell Washington's a few stalls away, giving us both grief about something. I didn't even understand what the heck he was saying. He's just yelling. You know how that goes in that room, right?
I do.
He's just yelling out something. And then he says to me, he goes, "And make sure you write that." And I'm going, I didn't even understand what the hell you said.
It was probably some snarky that he wanted you to put out there. It's like, watch us do work or something.
But it had something to do with Connor at fullback or whatever. I don't know. But it's like, it's a really positive vibe, and it is rooted in physicality. It's rooted in that identity. That's what I wanted to get past you today, is that can that be something that's a commonality? Can that be something that forges a bond in and of itself? You know what I mean? Like if you're I don't know, you're Dan Moore at left tackle and you're Isaac Seumalo at left guard and whatever, and you're bashing heads. You don't have to be chummy and play cards together and go to dinner at Marquise's house. No. It's just there, isn't it?
It's just there,
I'm
DK.
giving it up, and so are you.
It ain't so. You don't have to overthink that. It's what you are. What's supposed to be your specialty. It's also this. It's what got Kevin Dotson paid. Think about that.
I brought him up today too. I said, imagine if Dotson was still, and Dan Moore goes like this. Because that's true. If Dotson was still here, this is a dream come true for Dotson and for the Steelers.
It really is, man. And I know there's a lot of people who's like, "Oh Lord, why did we?" Well, it wasn't the offense for him. He went to an offense that was predicated on doing those things. And here's the other side too, on the physicality too. Whenever they learn how to be a team that's dominant and physical up front, we became the Goons, DK. That nickname, we became the Goons not because of how we protected Ben. It was because of how we move bodies. And when you set the precedent that you're going to move bodies and dominate and finish blocks, that, you know what that does, DK? Here's another key to a door that unlocks the passing game. It sets the floor for every freaking thing. And I know I've been a huge advocate of like, hey, spread them out and throw it, right? Spreading like that 5-yard, that out route to the sideline could be a 5-yard run. That's also if you had the type of team that can actually get back to the run. Go back to Seattle game last year. What won that game? Who were they super excited? They were happy that Freiermuth was in there blocking fools, wasn't he?
He was.
Like, it was that. because they went to the West Coast, which has been a black eye to our team, right? Historically, and recently, to be able to go crush it on the West Coast and win. And they did, DK. And it was because of the run. Think about the times we went to San Diego without Ben. We had to play the run game.
Boom.
You got to move them around. How do you establish yourself in the AFC North? It's that one word you mentioned earlier.
It's just physicality. That's all it is, man. It's and for these guys to be it's still May. It's May 30th. These guys to be this amped up to be competing at peak level, which they are, because their confidence in this approach is through the roof because they're naturals for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you, there's one individual that I spoke with today that you'll really want to hear his view on this. I'll share right after we take this little break, because we need you to watch this ad. It's just pivotal to our business.
You tease. Hurry up, man.
When we come back, it'll be the only segment that actually matters.
And that's Hey Moan. Let's do it.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
As I was walking through the facility near the end of the day, I ran into a certain somebody who happens to run the entire football operation. Don't overthink it. He was your head coach for a few years.
Yeah.
And he's smiling and whatever. And I said, you too? And he said, what do you mean? I said, the spirit in your room is just through the roof right now. And he goes, I remember exactly what he said. It was something to the effect of, yeah, that's how we like it, whatever. And I said, Mike, it's about being physical. It's about that. And he goes, you got that right. You got that right.
Beautiful.
It's so energizing and uplifting even to just be around these people when they're like this. Now, the better part is that these guys can do this. This isn't like a wish.
No.
Oh, I hope that we can be physical.
Yeah.
They know that they've got that. They can look over at Darnell, they know that they have the size and the nastiness.
And that's where a guy like Arthur Smith comes into play. Remember I told you in his first announced that he was going to be the offensive coordinator. It's like, you're going to run the ball. It's going to be physical. You're going to utilize the tight ends. They are a huge part of his offense. And you're going to be a team that does play action well. I said that. Those are the things you want to do. You're able to do play action well and take deep shots because of the run game. You got to think he's coming from a team where he heralded the 2,000-yard rushing leader.
He did.
Derrick Henry.
Yep.
He also went and took a rookie in Dejan Kovacevic and created a run game for him.
Did that too.
He understands what a star running back looks like and what he's capable of. And I think in his path from Nashville to Atlanta to Pittsburgh, I'm hoping for his sake and for the sake of this team, he learned even more how to utilize talent. Not just, and I think Derrick's running style was a bit unique, although I will say I think Najee's is very similar. I think Najee's more physical at the line of scrimmage than Derrick is, but
Derrick could break off the extras.
He could break. What Derrick doesn't have, Najee has.
Yes.
Derrick isn't physical. Derrick Henry wasn't physical, in my opinion. At the line of scrimmage, Najee is. Derrick has the breakaway speed.
Yes.
Najee doesn't. But
Derrick turns a hole into a 20, 30-yarder.
Yes, he does. But you got to get him there. Najee, I think, will break a hole. Correct in your assessment?
I mean, the advanced stats on that don't lie. Actually, you want to know something? Jalen Warren's not that different in that specific regard.
But you get more explosion out of Jalen.
Broken tackles. He'll hit the edge harder and not harder as in effort, harder as in he'll get there faster. They've got the guys to do this. Okay. Mm-hmm. They've definitely got the guys to do this. We're going to get through some Hey, Moan's here. We got some good ones here. Mel says, hey, Moan, how many running backs do you think the Steelers will keep since we're on the subject?
You got usually most rosters have their 1, their 2, and then their 3. Their 3 is a big bruiser for the most part and a special teams guy. You got 2 bell cows and maybe another one on practice squad. It's usually 3 roster running backs.
Don't forget, man, special teams. It's all getting blown up this year. Did you see the report out of Kansas City that for once something about Harrison Butker that didn't have to do with his Neanderthal views? This was about he's actually not going to kick on kickoffs because they don't want him tackling, and they expect that the kicker is going to have to tackle. So they have their safety doing the kickoffs.
Oh, with Reed.
Oh, really? Yeah,
with Reed. Oh,
so
well,
we'll see where all that goes.
And the way that's going to be set up to where they can't run until the receiver catches the ball, that makes all the sense to me.
Good stuff here from Mark Cunningham. Says, hey, Moan, is it feasible to expect this offensive line to gel right out of the gate? I'm excited, but also realistic.
No, it's not feasible. Is it feasible? No, it never is. You gradually get better. And again, you got to also think about this, Mark. Shorter, well, 1 less game. Is it still 3 games? I'm thinking about 18-2 already. Never mind.
No, not yet. We're working on it.
God dang. No, it's not enough time to put them in real situations where they do gel. I will say I expect them to be together a lot in these reps too. But think about this also, Mark. The 2s and 3s and guys you need on special teams also got to get reps. These team reps happened the last week of preseason going into the regular seasons where you'll see them begin to gel a little bit more. But you know my mindset. It's the first month of the season. Get past 4 weeks.
Yeah, you've been consistent about that. When they were an even younger and even less experienced or lower pedigree group, I heard you say occasionally you'd stretch it out to 6, but
yeah, the first month.
Yeah, and we'll see how things go specifically with Troy Fautanu in that context, because man, you're putting 3 children on that line.
Yeah, you are.
That's tough. That's
a little bit different.
Eddie Carter. Oh, he says, hey, Moan and DK. This one's yours. Hey, Moan, do the guys look at the schedule and say that those last 8 games are going to be critical?
Oh, hear me out. We look at it. We absolutely see everything that's involved around the schedule. How we do it. First thing that matters is how many primetime games. After that, it's okay, where are we playing at? What's the home and away schedules that we got to deal with? Holiday breakdown. And from there, okay, who do we have? And that last 8, this is what will happen. This happened to us. Men, Coach T, men, one a week is all we can do.
It's all I hear.
1 a week is all we do. 1 a week is all that matters, okay? And that's where you say, all right, got to win this one, must win this one. We're at home for this one. That one's going to be hard. Like, there's some realistic conversations that have to happen behind that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look ahead and say, all right, this is where we got to be strong. It really is a battle. There's a good back and forth with the way all that's set up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there.
Gauntlet. It is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, Robert. Robert puts that up. That last 8 is a gauntlet. But how else do you want it, though? And here's this. Nobody's gonna cry wolf or feel sorry for you too. And I know you're not. But here's the conversation as a player. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you because you play in the AFC North. Like, that's the big, that is the hardest thing about that schedule is you play in the friggin' AFC North starting 11-17, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy, Cleveland, Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, and the Bengals again. We're talking about all division games. That's why you're the best division in football. And it hadn't changed in the last 10 plus years, 15, 16 years, DK.
Mm-hmm. That's
even
correct.
As bad as Cleveland been, it still doesn't change the fact that it's like that.
Mm-hmm. Mike in Texas doesn't like my mentioning Neanderthal views. Dude, he wants women back in the kitchen. Did you hear actually what he said?
Right.
I mean, you're going to talk about the women like that in 2024? I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
That's there's not a line to be had there. Okay, that's not crossing the line. That's obliterating the line.
Yeah, it's a little different right there. He can have his views, but it's not many that agree with him on it. It's not saying one replaces the other, but you can't place one in the kitchen and say this is where you belong. I don't agree with that either. Again, I respect his views and I know where he's coming from.
I don't at all. Jack says the Steelers went 5-1 in the North last season. It's the other AFC teams that they struggle with. I guess you could say that. I mean, I guess you could say that. And that does matter, though, doesn't it? I mean, how many wins in a row now against Baltimore? I think it's 7-1, 7 out of the last 8 against Baltimore. I mean, that's pretty significant.
It is significant. But here's the thing. It ain't your fault that you cheer for a team that plays in the AFC North. 5-1 was just last year. It ain't no such thing as like, oh, it's going to be easy. And here's the thing about it, too. Arizona, I don't think is a great team, or the Patriots. On paper right now, with the minutes changes as they have, won't be a great team, but they're also going to be very challenging. Any given Sunday is for a reason, okay? Any team can lose. So whether it be Baltimore that craps the bed this year, Cincinnati or Cleveland or Pittsburgh, somebody's got to, compete. You still got to go compete. Don't concede it. That to me is – I'm ranting right now because I'm passionate. They're going to have to prove to me that last 8 is hard. That's my mentality. Don't tell me that, hey, you guys got to go through the gauntlet. Hell, so do they.
Robert Frazier says Zach Frazier is going to be a definite upgrade from Mason Cole. I don't know how you can say that definitely. He's yet to take a snap in the National Football League. He's still on the second team. I know that's not going to last.
He's a rookie.
Yeah, it's great to be excited about them, but there's also perspective, right?
Robert, and what I would tell you, Robert, is he's a new draft pick and he's a new shiny toy. We're supposed to be excited about what his potential can be, but think about how many guys potential you and myself was excited about until they got on the field. I'll throw one out there because it is what it is. How many folks, DK, was excited about Dree Archer?
Yeah, everybody was. Dree was going to be the game changer.
And then it didn't happen. So
yeah,
it's still the offseason too.
Yeah. Oh, Steven asked the worst question you can ever ask on this program. Why do they do this, Moan? Why do they ask?
This is the Falcons game. Nah. DK always shows up.
I'm at every game. I've been at every game for 20 years.
So much so that myself and Dolly worry about DK and his travel and eating habits and sleeping habits so much that he won't miss anything.
I was at 2 games yesterday in Detroit, so that's just how that goes.
Now look at the names that are coming in right now, DK. Limas is another. Dree is another.
You never go straight Limas. You don't take you got to have a couple of clever detours on your way to Limas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've had numerous Ohio State guys that have not made it work too. Think about it. That's one of the biggest, and I think to me, just polarizing things. He's from Ohio State. He's supposed to be great. You got greatness out of Shazier for a small window and Cam. We got Will Allen from another team. He wasn't an original. But think about all the Ohio State guys that everybody fall in love with. And next thing you know, hey, a lot of this fan base was falling in love with a dude that was drafted at quarterback from Pitt.
That is accurate. Michael comes in and says they're getting back to Steelers football. Can I just take some small exception with that? I know that we always say that. We say it reflexively. The Steelers are running the football. Of course they are. They're the Steelers. It's what they do. And then I'm dated enough to remember when Jerome Bettis arrived, and it was, yes, they're getting back to Steelers football. Here comes the bus. Boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is, and I am not a Terry Bradshaw fan, like as a human, okay? I think he's got a lot of shortcomings. However, I feel it's unfair to Bradshaw to look back at those teams from the 70s and identify them with the running game when who won those? Who and what won those Super Bowls? It was passing. It was the bombs to Swan and Stallworth and everything. Yeah. Steelers have always been balanced. Moan, they were, no matter how great the running backs you had that you were blocking for, what made the engine go?
The quarterback is always going to be the thing, DK. Yeah. It was. Yeah, and it matters. It's balance is what you're saying. What you need.
Yeah. That's Steelers football.
What I guess, and Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, what I think that the end result of what he's saying of getting back to the Steelers football is actually having an identity of physicality too. That's the identity. Whether you're going to run or pass the ball, because here's the thing about it. Pass protection is not passive at all. You should be cleaning people off the piles. You should be knocking guys to the ground. You should be just as aggressive in the pass protection as you are in the run game too. What you're saying is you hope they're getting back to physicality. That to me is what I think has been teetering, and it's probably because of talent. It's probably because of transition. It may be because other than Kenny's right situation of knowing that he really is not going to sling the ball up and down the field, Ben also like to throw the ball. So you think it's soft. It's not. The physicality of it has to be carried in the passing game and the run game too. And by the way, somebody mentioned somebody I hate I left off this list, DK. Santonio Holmes. Tone is an Ohio State great. That's on me. I shouldn't have left him out.
He's a championship great.
MVP.
That's one thing. You talk about everything that went into that performance. It wasn't just the drive. He was reliable. He was there the whole game. He was there the whole playoff. But when you do that, I don't know that Santonio Holmes gets enough credit in this city. No. It was too quick. It was all so fast, and there were so many other. The other thing is, that spectacular, breathtaking, unforgettable, statuesque catch was the second best play in that game.
What was the one across the middle where he caught him? Which one was it? Which one was his most important one, you think?
Debo.
Oh, Debo's. Yeah.
See, it even took you a while.
Yeah.
It's like we don't give him, I think, and I've told this to Santonio, I don't believe that he gets enough respect.
No.
I really don't.
I don't. And again, it was so quick. It ended so abruptly. And then when he went to the Jets, he didn't have a quarterback situation that helped him continue on what his greatness could have been. By the time I got to Pittsburgh in 2009, and Tone was going in 3 years, I think at that time. He was drafted in 2006.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, fourth year. By the time I got there, Tone had more legendary stories of just his play, his attitude, his approach to the game. They said Tone said a pregame speech one time right before the Super Bowl game. Said Tone was like, man, I want a high school championship. I want a natty championship. All I got left is the Super Bowl. And he played a huge part. Just the calmness and arrogance.
But he wants it too. That's the thing that you underscore there.
Yes, man.
Yeah. Not everybody wants it. They say they do. They don't actually want it.
Tone.
They don't want the stage.
Oh my Tone, and that was the whole point of that in the showers before they went out. And it's a better version of that story that I'm not telling correctly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But Tone was woo goodness.
But the other credit for that though goes to Ben.
Yeah,
because Ben, when you're a quarterback, the one thing that you notice the most about your wide receivers, according to quarterbacks, is do they want the ball? They can all say they want the ball. I want my guys to want the ball. I want it. Oh my God. He wasn't going to have anybody else laying a finger on it. Okay.
Oh.
And that's just that. Wow. Yeah. We could do a whole show on that.
Oh my gosh.
Steven thinks I'm rich to go to every game. I don't think Steven knows that I'm a reporter.
You get a credential and a ticket.
We kind of have to go.
There's a price.
There's a travel budget for the business and so forth.
Whatever money DK is saving from tickets, or you think is rich, is only because he gets a free meal on Sundays in the press box, which I've learned is what press people love.
Oh God, that's good stuff though. Every once in a while, man, you'll get something like that. I'm just dropping money out of my wallet to go to see these games here.
No,
James says the deep bombs never would have happened if they didn't have a running game. Yeah, I'm saying we're in agree. Yeah, that is the combination. But the idea that the Steelers are just boom, 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 boom. No, not at all here. John Reap says, "Hey, Mo, the line will be identical the last year, other than Nate Herbig at center to start the year. Do you think Nate Herbig is going to be the starter over Zach Frazier?"
I really couldn't answer that question because I've seen a guy in Marquise beat out Justin Hartwig in a one camp. So I don't know if Herbig is going to fight for it. If they just want to say cut ties, let the young boy grow and put him in. You got to also think the best way to get better is what, DK? Live reps.
Yeah, got to do it.
You got to play them. So those are the decisions that are way above my pay grade, DK, as far as organization goes, and yours. Maybe somebody can tell us if they let him go, why'd y'all cut Herbert? They'll never give us the real answer, but it's probably so we can put him out there. You can put Zach Frazier out there, right?
That is correct. Jay Mood says that Frazier looks so strong in OTAs. He does not, my friend. There is no such thing as looking strong in OTAs. Moan, please.
You know why, Jay Moods? I'm with you, and I love the images that you've seen on probably social media.
Yeah.
He ain't got no pads on.
No, there's no pads.
He got no pads on. And is Cam running down the middle of his face yet?
No.
Tell me how strong he is.
Cam's not out there. Larry's not out there much. It's no. There's nobody cutting him. There's nobody tricking him. There's no deception. We don't know a thing about how he looks.
They might get a cross dog. They might get a TE. But imagine, like, here's the thing about it. There are fines given out by the NFL and NFLPA if teams get too physical during OTAs because there are no pads out there. It's shoulder on shoulder. Yeah. We thought it was actually the shells. You can't even wear shells if I'm not mistaken. So
no shells.
You can't lose. You lose the physicality. I'm not knocking what you're saying. He may look strong and confident in what he's doing, but you can't really judge an offensive lineman until they put on those plastic pads.
Yeah, Jake says, let us get excited. Well, I mean, it's not about being, the buzzkill here. It's just I'm trying to lay it out for you as real as possible. That's what the show has always been about. I think both of us try to do that.
John, it ain't flag football.
No.
I promise you. It's a fine line between flag and full pads. Right, DK?
It is, and it's also not moving sleds. Jay Mood is still trying to cut back Frazier's moving sled.
Keep going, Jay Mood. Give us another one, man.
In that case, I'd like to present the 2024 National Football League Most Valuable Player Award to Darnell Washington because he doesn't move sleds. He moves mountains. He uses the sleds. He picks them up and throws them at mountains, and the mountains move back.
Oh my gosh. That actually brings us to Swan's question real quick. I think I started this one or you did. Swan, what up, man? Golly, or lady, either way. Hey, ain't no problem here. But they go, hey, Moan, do you know if a rookie in camp is a guy, if a guy has it, or if so, what's the biggest tell? Their need to want to get more reps is usually it. In these OTAs with no pads on, you do see some physicality. You see some need to want to finish. But here's what you also see more than anything. You see the confidence in their face. I'm sure DK.
I was just going to get to intangibles. That's.
Go ahead. You see them. Go ahead, DK.
I'm watching today. This was after practice. The defensive linemen were all being challenged, and I do mean challenged, to do this bizarre exercise where I can't even describe this monstrosity because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
Where they get their stomach down on this disc that's elevated a little bit, and they're supposed to like bend all the way forward, and almost looks like they're falling.
Yeah.
And to use their hands to catch themselves at the last split second. And everyone's looking at this thing going, I don't want anything to do with this. This is ridiculous. You know who's first guy to fall onto that disc?
Who's that?
Mon Adams, our guy. Montravius Adams was on that disc. You know who came running after him? Keanu Benton. He's like, I'll do this. What, you watch me do this. Or whatever. And Broderick Jones is off to the side. He's kind of making fun of some of them, like, yeah. And then he goes, get out of here. Everybody get out of here. I'm next. Get out of here. I'm next. That's what you want to see. That's the stuff that the coaches look for. I know that sounds really like, I don't know, Byzantine or something.
Yeah.
But that's part of what they're looking for, man.
It is the small intangible stuff that you can't put a price on, or just looking at a dude and saying, I'm going to compete. And the reason that I started that one too, and trying to find a guy who has it from what Swan asked, is there are no All-Americans in the NFL. Your Pro Bowl All-Pro are really good, right? And a lot of dudes we call Southside All-Stars or Southside All-Americans when they look stupendous this time of the year, but it doesn't carry over into camp. You notice certain stuff from guys like, yeah, I like this dude. This is going to be cool, right? I'm going to watch this in camp. That's what it really leads you to do. I'm going to watch this in camp. Like Mike Hilton was one of those guys early. I'm going to watch this dude in camp. He just continues to show. But here's the thing. He plays a non-contact position in OTAs and minicamp. You can see him make plays, right? what his biggest issue would be for a small skill guy is, well, can he actually tackle somebody in live play? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's two different things that you have to do. But you can tell by the way Fantano moves or Broderick moves or how they block or the footwork and stuff like that. But you can't really tell until you put the pads on for offensive line.
Oh, yeah. Or for pretty much any position other than wide receiver and to an extent the corners, because even then they can now be physical.
Yeah.
You know, you're asking Joey Porter to cover to somebody in OTAs. It's very different than Joey Porter covering them in a game.
Yeah. Oh, my
Okay.
gosh. Yes. Brian got a good one, man. I think it's pretty good.
All right.
His name I'm going to use is a throwback, too. It's right under the one you start, DK. Brian goes, hey, Mon, what's the funniest rookie hazing you've witnessed during your playing days in the NFL? Anything happened that just ended in hilarity? Two of them. Marquise Pouncey came in. It was two of them in the same class. Him and I'll tell you the other guy. Marquis comes in and he ain't no entertainer. He's a funny guy. He's no entertainer, okay? He comes out. Everybody's a first-round draft pick.
I'm trying to find the daylight between those two concepts, but okay.
A funny guy, but not an entertainer. He's not about to get up there and dance or, tell a joke or that's what I mean by, like, not being an entertainer. He ain't going to do that. He comes out and he plays this song by this rapper Plies. And it's, I got plenty of money, because I think he had just signed and everything. And he comes out and he throws this wad of fake cash in the air and everything. It's so on par for what Marquise is, okay? That was hilarious. Like, oh, my God, we got a problem on our hands with this dude. And the other one was Cresden Butler. Remember Cresden?
Wow, that's a random name from the past.
I told you I was going to bring in a random name right there. I think they're the same draft class. Cresden Butler. Yes, they are. He had by far the best Mike Tomlin impersonation ever. He could spot on, mimic Coach Tomlin so bad that we thought Cresden was going to get cut. Because why are you?
Trouble. Yeah, he's too good.
It was too good. Like, why are you paying more attention to me than your daggone playbook? Like, it was one of those things. Cresden was so good at it that I thought he was going to get cut. He made the team that year, though, DK.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, Cresden Butler. He ended the talent show that year, too.
Juan reminds everybody that giving a like to the show is free. Doesn't cost anything. And the more you do that, the bigger the audience gets, the bigger the reach gets, and all that other stuff.
No doubt. Jake follows up, DK, and says, what would Coach T think of that? That was the thing. It was so good you had to laugh, but it was also like, dang, bro, like you studied him. But some dudes are just that good at mimicking people, though, and Cresden was one for Coach Tomlin.
Now, here's Mike in Texas. He's with us again, and he's trying to make amends for his ridiculous remark earlier defending Harrison Butker. He says, hey, Moan, can you explain to me why there are referees at OTAs when they're just in shorts running drills?
That's to get the
and there are still.
Yeah, they are still. Because it makes it real. Guys act like they can get away with stuff when the refs aren't out there. So Coach Tomlin brings out those stripes to get guys to understand this is what they call. You got to also think there's an adjustment from the NFL to college too, or college to the NFL, where certain rules can be done. You can't hand check guys, or you can't face guard guys as the ball is in the air. You got to at least attempt to turn your head around when it's 7-on-7 type stuff. D lineman, watching them. Hey, your hands were tight right there. It really is, Mike, just a quick check of rules. It's a quick check is what it is. So I always liked it. I thought it was super cool. When they were out there, hey, your hands were a little high right there, bring them down. It's that type of stuff that you don't want it to be new in camp.
They're PIAA officials, and for those of you who are out of state, that's the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association. So they're high school refs.
So you want to go ahead?
And basically, just to give you a small example of that, there was a woman official on our side of the sideline, and I could relay the conversation. By the way, she wasn't in the kitchen, which I hope is okay with Mike and everybody else. She threw a flag, and one of the positional coaches comes over and asks her, because they're not stopping play or marching off yardage or anything. The coach comes over and says, "What did you see?" And she says, "Well, so-and-so was doing this and that and this and that." So that coach has he has a history of it in his head. He can relay that to other people that are making evaluations. He can pass it on to the player. He can pass it on to Mike Tomlin, whatever it is. So it's not like they throw flags and move guys backward. You know what I mean?
So, and here's the other thing too. This late in OTAs also, this is where you can actually do more competition. You do 2-minute. You can do red zone. You can do tight end zone also, tight red zone, to where the refs call is the end all be all. And you want to talk about a very toxic DK, and you know I'm not lying. It'll just challenging moments is whenever they call some a touchdown.
Yeah.
The referee and the defense don't agree with it. Oh, you trash talk those.
It's loud enough to be heard a mile away.
Where did you get these guys from?
We're all over him, but the best part is the officials like they keep straight faces, but you know they're
because it's banter back and forth, and I love it, man. But yeah, definitely. It gives and it makes it official. Is what it does is when those guys is out there and they make the calls for the team, good or bad. And here's the other thing too: Coach T or the defensive offensive coordinator tell him, "Hey, call him on this play just to mess with him." Like,
oh my God, he does that. We can actually hear him do that. Just tell him he wasn't lined up correctly. Just see what he does.
It's little stuff like that. But nobody's going to argue with the ref, more than anything. Throw the flag. Hey, that was an infraction right there. It's cool.
No, the other thing is to make sure, by the way, to be more specific, that wide receivers, specifically wide receivers, are lined up correctly, and they'll do this in games.
Yeah.
They'll motion over to the ref. Am I good?
Yeah.
Am I good? Am I good? And the ref goes, you're good. Because the NFL wants the plays to get off. They don't want a bunch of flags.
Yeah.
Useless knowledge. Terrific question here. This is in reference to
going from passing to running. Useless knowledge is referencing where I said the pendulum usually swings in the other direction. When a lot of teams are about to go through the air, then you go run the ball. That's
pocket quarterbacks. Will they be back?
So he said, does the pendulum swing back to pocket quarterbacks? My short answer is probably no. Here's the thing is why
I'm surprised here. Go ahead.
I think you're going to always have an athletic quarterback. We've had them in history before. Steve Young was a very athletic quarterback, and a lot of people don't bring him up, right? But I think with the evolution of the quarterback, you have now inserted the 11th player on offense, where the quarterback used to just be a statue and you don't have to worry about him running. Why did Ben get so much prestige, right? Because one, he was big,
but kept also plays alive. They hated it. Couldn't scheme for him.
His mobility was gonna dagger you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think going from who's before Vic, going from Vic to Culpepper to others who've played the position.
I swear I will still insist that the Steelers pioneered this concept, maybe unwillingly, with Cordell Stewart.
Or Cordell.
Yeah.
Yes. What it does is when there's no other option there, you have an option if a guy can use his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every team who has a smart enough quarterback to know how to get down and protect themselves, right? And the way they protect quarterbacks in general anyway, then I don't think it's ever going away. I don't. And Mason is a pocket quarterback. Yes, he's agile enough. Think about what I said. I didn't say run first quarterback. We're talking about dual threat guys that are at least mobile. We're not talking about Peyton Manning or Eli Manning. We're not talking about Phillip Rivers. We're talking about Drew Brees, who could potentially run some. Brady, who got out of the pocket here or there, but really was a statue. Who's others that are in that comment? Patrick Mahomes, pocket quarterback, but moves around, right? Dak now has become more of a pocket that moves around.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the list of guys that are in the league right now. They are pocket guys with the ability to run. That, to me, is incorporating the 11th player on offense as a threat.
Elwin asks if there's any word on Cole Holcomb's progress. I saw him today. He is walking around with no brace, no something. He has one of those where the part of his uniform comes down over the knee. But that's just a uniform. It's not, it's not anything that's helping him. He's not participating in drills or anything. Every time, and this is at least 2 or 3 times now since off-season workouts have begun, that coach or Mike Tomlin has been asked about Holcomb's progress. The response has been, we're very encouraged by it. He's giving it everything that he has. And then they will always come back and couch that with, this was a major injury.
Dang.
So you can hope It would be wonderful to have him be back as part of that inside linebacker group. But remember, that inside linebacker group right now is Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts, Peyton Wilson, who's going to be on the field. Mark Robinson is part of that group as well.
How was his progress? That's one where he's at a fork in the road, DK.
Yeah, I said to him, this was actually just today. I said, you know, I'm going to ask you the same question I always do. And he goes, yeah, well, okay, go ahead. I said, all right, how's your pass coverage coming? Because it's the only thing that holds him back. He's an absolute missile when it comes to going to the ball carrier, but he's not someone that they trust to go out there and drop back. And you have to do that in 2024 as an inside linebacker. You just do.
Be capable.
And it's kind of a shame because, man, you put that guy next to Vince Williams about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or Lawrence Timmons.
Oh,
and you would be sending this guy to the Pro Bowl every year because he would just he would find who's got the ball. Boom.
He was born too late.
But he's also involved in special teams, which, of course, as I just mentioned earlier, are going to take on added importance this year. That's good stuff. So we'll see how the inside linebackers shape up, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
If Holcomb's part of it, that'd be great.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, Xavier has a question here. Hey, Moan, reckless speculation. Is the reason that Mike Tomlin and other players are not getting contracts because they're preparing for a potential change? You mean like a change at head coach? I don't know I don't even know what change Xavier is referring to here. But the answer,
I think that's yeah. Omar Penn might just be tired. I mean, that's what we are. He's done a lot this offseason. That question. So what we've heard is this: both sides confirm, Mr. Rooney and everybody, Coach Tomlin's deal is going to get done. Again, it's one of those situations. Let me enjoy my honeymoon phase, possibly. You know, like let me enjoy watching Arthur Smith do work. We got a lot of new toys inside of the building. We're figuring stuff out. I'd be shocked, Xavier, if the guy was let go. But think again, you're a fan of a franchise that's had 3 head coaches in 40 years.
Way more than 40.
It's more than 40 now.
It goes to 1969. So whatever that is.
So
55.
Again, so here's the other thing too. Cam's situation, right?
Cam,
he's still under contract. He can't hold out. And at some point, how long do you extend it out with Cam before you got to say, because again, I don't think this group is going to do what it did with us. I think when that door closes or they see, man, it's getting dim on that light, eventually, I know it's a hard conversation to talk about because Cam doesn't seem like he's slowing down. But at some point, business-wise, Xavier and everybody else, like there has to be a point to where you put a divide, a line in the road is like, we can't go past this. You know, and X says, yes, coaching change. X, while we got time on this broadcast, tell me why you want a coaching change too. If you don't mind. I don't think it's it. I don't think it's
why you would think in late May anybody would be contemplating one.
So
that's the reason I'm making the faces I am. I've criticized Mike Tomlin. There have been times I questioned whether or not he should be keeping his job moving into the future.
Right.
But it's May 30th. You're not going to see any NFL coaches anywhere change.
You got June, July, and August. He can get a camp right before the season kickoff. We got 90 days to figure out if he's going to get a contract, and I think he will. If he doesn't, well, I mean, I can't see him gone. That's just me, DK. Maybe I'm the wrong one here. Xavier, I'm not coming back at you in the wrong way. Those types of things, they get handled when they get handled. It's probably what Omar and Mr. Rooney and everybody else would tell you.
Yeah, when we come back, we're going to take care of some business here and close shop for the week, and that'll be right after this. I just like this physical thing, Mo, and I'm into this. You know, it feels like it's one of those things where I get the sense from them, and you can correct me if I'm wrong since you've lived it. I get the sense from them that it's you feel like you can control your own destiny by just out physicaling the other team. It doesn't mean you're always going to be bigger. Doesn't always mean you're going to be stronger, but you feel like if you've got that in your collective DNA, we'll get the 5 yards. Tell us you need 5 yards. We'll get them for you.
110%, DK. It doesn't get no more simple than knowing that I can impose my will. This is what it seems like this group is starting to realize, or what they're going to your point, get back to. Is all right, we got what we have now is, and again, we still haven't gotten an answer for George Robin. Who's George Robin if he's Batman? And right now they're telling us George Pickens is Batman. Who's his Robin? Like, that move has to be made. But what if you don't need a Robin in this offense?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Every time I ask a question about wide receiver 2, I get all kinds of we like Van Jefferson and we like Quez Watkins and there's always Calvin Austin. And I hear all that, and all I'm thinking is all you really want to say here is that it's Pat Freiermuth. Just go ahead and say it.
It is.
It is.
The same way it was Jonnu in Tennessee, Jonnu Smith in Tennessee, and then it was
Kyle Pitts. And it's like
in Atlanta.
And a player today said to me, this was in relation to, he said, did you see how he used them, meaning Arthur Smith? Did you see how he used his guys in Atlanta? Don't overthink this.
And you know who's doing the same thing too? Detroit and Buffalo.
Yeah, they sure
are.
And
you know who else got by with
Detroit with 2 1,000-yard rushers.
And Detroit, Buffalo, Baltimore. They're all doing it with tight ends also. Again, as expensive as they are, the wide receivers, this may be the pendulum swinging in the other way. And by the way, real quick too, Xavier said, I don't want the change, but I wanted to hear your thoughts. My thoughts is this: that deal will get done.
Much respected,
I feel
by
like
the way.
Much respect. And one comment, that deal I think will get done more than it won't get done. And again, you got June, July, August, all the way up to September. There's time for it.
There's a picture. Where's Rochelle? Rochelle's out making that money. I mean, she's got to find a way to make that money, right?
Yeah, man.
That's really good stuff. And Mike, who keeps trying to get himself back into the good graces here, comes back with another really good point. It said that Darnell should have a big season. And, Darnell today caught, I can share this since it was shared with me, but Darnell caught 2 touchdowns on 7 shots. And you know how I know that?
How?
Because he was letting everybody know this.
Of course he did.
Yes. He is not just 6-man.
Yeah, of course he did, man. By the way, too, on Mike's conversation and others that went down the kicker conversation, I'm all for everybody's personal opinion. I got zero. I'm talking about what happens in my house is different from yours. How you feel is different from mine and DK's and everybody else involved too. Harrison Buckner's comments, of course, it's polarizing. I get it. But that doesn't mean that we got to go back and forth and attack one another and stuff like that though too. I love the back and forth. I love the open conversation of it all too. My views don't change the way you eat, okay, or sleep or think. So, Mike, you're more than welcome in here, and anybody else that feels that way. Only thing DK and I don't like though is just let's keep it clean and sensible. It's more than anything else, okay? Everything is welcome in here, and I love it. Whether you got critiques, whether you are just don't like us or love us, I love it all, okay? I just needed to say that for I feel like us and how we handle that situation. Because Harrison Buckner, I want to see him fail. I hope he misses every field goal and punt, whatever the hell he does, okay? He ain't in black and gold. So screw him is how I feel, okay, Mike? His views is his thing.
My view on all this is really simple. I share Shane's view. It would be awesome if Darnell became a red zone threat. It really would, though, wouldn't it? He'd be unfreaking stoppable. Am I wrong?
Yeah, man.
Me and you, Shane. Football analysis.
You ain't got to take him off the field or do none of that, DK. Let him run, block, and catch.
You don't have to figure out if you're a run offense, pass offense, whatever it is. Put him and Freiermuth out there, and nobody will be able to figure you out play to play.
I'm telling you, man, 100%. And by the way, y'all better boo the hell out of this Harrison dude when he comes to Pittsburgh, too. I just need y'all to do that for everybody involved, okay? Just because.
I hear that. I hear that. Let's what is today's Thursday? Well, we can't pretend it's so we'll hold off on the hump day thing, but we can pretend that it's Friday since it's the end of the for us.
No doubt. By the way, last weekend, Memorial Day was a kickoff to summer. I know it earmarks it for a lot of people. Your summers also end after July 4th. At least that's the football calendar, okay? But here's the thing, good people. As we just said a second ago, whether you, Mike, or anybody else in this chat, hey, let's have conversation with somebody. Call somebody you ain't talk to. Apologize to somebody. Buy somebody a random drink. Have a random conversation. Love one another, man, okay? But at the end of the day, make it back to us next week. Here we go.
Awesome. See you guys next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Let's do it.
Bye-bye.